enough. I think the most emotional point, for me in my life, like especially with the persecution that's been on my, my art. That's one of the most important things to me. My expression, my literary works and my skill thereof and my ability, to be able to, produce, create quality stuff, for those that love God. That's what, the most emotional point for me is actually coming to the realization of my limitations. You know what I'm saying? I don't have many when it comes like artistically, and I have zero limitations, period, artistically actually, when it comes to my literary standpoint. But, I realized that because of the trauma that I faced, there's certain times when like, don't get me wrong, my flows, everything's smooth like it's supposed to be. I can easily, I'm just like, God blessed me with that gift of literary talent, original and off the top. But I realized with that because of what I've gone through, all this time, it was intentionally to kill my mind. So it didn't do that, but it definitely impacted me, So it's like, all my structures and things, my scenic structures with, my aesthetics and things like that, it don't roll off, you feel me, as fluidly as it was destined to, you feel me? And that's why my tears fall, because I think about like, I could have did so much better for God. It ain't really about how anybody perceive me. It's about if I could please the Lord. That's what I always been about, pleasing the Lord. I didn't care about, nothing else, no stuff that was beneath that, so the devil tried to like literally drag me in, drag me to realities unrelated to me in order to for some kind of, I don't know, sense of dominance or, to feel like, somebody conquered God or something. I don't know. But it wasn't mine, that wasn't something I dwelled upon. It's just, it's crazy because that's what most of my pain is. Everybody know my aesthetic. At this point, especially the saints and, all the witnesses of the gospel, in real time, the witnesses of the Bible truth, they see the miracles of God, thousands, nationally, even globally. They seen tons of miracles, things that's impossible without it being God's power. It's definitely not no witchery or nothing like that. I love garlic. I eat it almost every other day. So that's not the case. It's just, people seeing, a piece of it. And it hurts more because God actually intended to do more, for society and things. But, of course, the devil got in stuff, defiled it, messed everything. That's just what the devil do, though, every century, like every generation, every age, there's just a pattern of humanity because the devil in the world. So it was a greater work. And God showed me these things, revealed to me, how vast and bigger. And I'm still capable of a lot of great stuff, but that's a part of one of the reasons why my life is still like, in a way, squeezed, It's squeezed, to prevent me from like, it's really the same thing that's already been happening, which is weird. Yeah. But it's like still there for that attention. So, I can still do things under pressure. I'm great with it. I've tons of classics. It's a lot of things I ain't got to say, my track record, as far as like this literary, spiritual warfare stuff is all displayed all over the internet, and it's been that way for years. So people see my original skill, my talent, my works and everything, all me, it's great, but it's nowhere near, how great it could have been if I had the, necessary resources that I had. I mean, God set me up for success. I ain't gonna lie. He set me up good for success. It was some key players that just was the kindest people, man. Like, it was some good people that God had placed in my life, or even early on. But it's like the devil, you know what I'm saying, overpowered the good at the time, and it's just like it sabotaged the rest of my trajectory for my life. And that's why I am who I am today. In both ways, you feel me? Like, man, it's really the Bible, it's just the way things was. Like, God knew it would be like that because the devil was in the world. That ain't stopping from keeping his promise, though. So, man, yeah, it's kind of rough, man, but yeah. So me knowing the pain that God feels, then it's like in my life, I seen like that same thing several times on like a micro scale. You feel me? Like, God, it's like if any Christians or anybody pay attention, like then they have spiritual discernment and they can see and they can hear, they can understand, then they understand it's like that's what we doing. Like, we living out God's, you know what I'm saying? Like, we living out the life of the Lord. And, in different ways, like things, challenges, things, you put no more on you than you can bear. But it's like, I've noticed that in my life, I feel the same pains though. Like, the things that anger God, the things that sadden God, the things that excite God. Like, I feel that, it's like I desire what God desires, And when I see things that, that me realizing that because of what's happened to me, it's fragmented me. So it's limited a lot of things. I did the best with what I could, but if I had more, I could do better. You feel me? But I'm thankful for what I had, and I've done wonderfully. As far as like God concerned. God, the way God look at it, God think I did great. God is happy, pleased. Me personally though, I feel like I could have did better and did more. And I want to do more and do better for God. You see? But God, and it's heaven, they feel like I did enough, I did good, I'm doing, what I'm saying? Like, it don't take much, to glorify, God, what I'm saying? You just gotta you follow the Bible. You don't have to be extremely talented, or nothing like that to please God, I just, wanted to, reach more people with more greatness that I know I was capable of. And persecutors knew it too. So that's why they did all this, try to kill my mind and kill my time, what I'm saying? Everything, like, incessantly, like a straight all or nothing type play. And they knew that I was blessed by God early on. So when I started displaying traits and signs of like having talent and literary stuff, they already had those slanders and smear campaign scam already, like, just waiting for me. Feel me? It was already, they were just holding it above my head. For the first moment that I displayed any signs of interest in something that could, influence, be influenced, because they knew that I'm blessed, God blessed me, then they knew I'm going to glorify God. So they knew that in advance. So when I started making moves towards that, then that's when they dropped the slander on me. You feel me? They was already holding it over me though. They was waiting on it. And that angers me so much, not because of the damage I've suffered, even though it's great, but it's more of what, all of that, the whole trajectory being sabotaged from early years to now, all of that really just, it took so much from, the world, the godly, the positive side of the world, what I'm saying, the good stuff, the light, the righteousness. It was a whole godly empire. You feel me? A whole empire that's of God. You know what I'm saying? But the devil would not let it happen. Would not let it come into fruition. You feel me? So that's what all of this was. It was too much evil in the world, too much covetous, too much greed. You know what I'm saying? Too much lust for power. It's too much things like that was in the world that it never had a chance, really, unfortunately. And I was definitely going to lead it in. I was going to be a leader. Now, I ain't saying I'm going to be the only leader, but I was definitely going to do the best I can, to ensure that, God get the glory, for what he's did. He's created the world, space, heavens, everything. God did great, man. Like, words can't describe how awesome God is. And God is so cool, man. I wish more people knew it, man. God is like down to earth, literally. God is humble. God is cool, man, the coolest. I wish more people knew him, like, super cool. I told him, man, he made man in his image. You know, you want to see God, you know what I'm saying? You sin, you catch your brethren, and you know what I'm saying? You know, God is the Father of creation, the Father of light, period, just over all things, you know. So it's like, you have a father and you had a good father, then you see your father, and it's just like God. You feel me? I ain't saying your father is God, but God made man in his image. So it's like, minus the sin, minus, you know, the mortality, the ability to die, and, you know, but minus evil and, you know, wickedness and stuff like that. You know, that's what God is. He made man in his image. So God has the same, you know, humor, you know, intellectualism, you know, kindness, you know, conversation. You know, it's like God is like awesome, man. God is like all of that, you know. Humanity just piece of him, from comedy, humor, you know, art, you know, creativity. All of these things are God. You know, he just gave them to humanity, but he created man. He breathed his life into humanity. So that's how man is here, from God, you know. So it's deeper, it's real deeper, you know, but it's awesome. I mean, but that's what most of my pain came from, when I just realized that, you know, that this damage that I suffer is real. And, you know, I look at my circumstances and that's real. So it's like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe, cause I could do, like, artistically, you know what I mean? I got no end. I can glorify God forever, you know, if he willed it. So but it's persecution heavy on me, and it's been like this. I've been ignored and allowed to just be absolutely destroyed until, you know, my mind would be killed. So I couldn't grow in creativity, then a scam could work. It was absolutely a genius thing, you know. Diabolical, you know, but now it's exposed. So, yeah, though, my faith still in God, though. But yeah, sometimes, though, you know, it do kind of get to you, because it's like, well, man, I don't know what they were wanting to accomplish, but, yeah, all of that's a long time, you feel me, to be going through that. So it leave a little mark on you, you know, and I realized that. And it's kind of like a situation, just like you see other people who, like, say, people been through, like, extreme, like, you know, like, just situations in life, and they end up in a position or having something, you know what I'm saying, like something that they used to being able to do, or something they're supposed to be able to do, and then they can't do it no more. You feel me? It's like that kind of situation. It's it's like a realization, and it hurts, you know. And that's kind of like it is, you know. I know God had blessed me, and he anointed me, you know, for this type of thing. And it's like, everybody know at this point, especially people who've been seeing the miracles and things like that, they know, you know, things was supposed to be a whole lot more fluid than it is. And then I was able to appeal to all, you know, like to the people who was open to the light in a greater way, though, you know, not just confined to my literature, you know. But that's been my main thing now. But I actually was expanding way further, you know, all types of different things, you know, and I could do it through my literature. And it's fine, you know, but the devil was in the earth, man, since back in the garden.